Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Monday, March 27th, 2023, and the big news story worldwide here in the U.S., Israel's mass protest. And it's being led by Israel's described far-right leader, Itamar BenGvir, who is opposed to Netanyahu's judicial overhaul. And to simply explain what Netanyahu's trying to do, it's as if in the United States, more power was given to Congress to essentially control the Supreme Court. That's essentially what Netanyahu was trying to do in Israel. They call their Congress the Knesset. So anyhow, there's a protest to stop that from happening. And what I'm going to show is why this is happening today. Again, all across the world, they have to keep people divided, even within their own nations. And just like we've said, the United States of America is controlled by the Jesuit order, and it's very clear that Israel was a Jesuit creation, and it's very clear to see that today's massive protest that will have the people of the nation divided is entirely Jesuit. So, if you're new here, Gematria is the Jewish practice of coding numbers into words. It traditionally comes from Hebrew, but it is alive and well within the English language, and that's why this code, or again, English, the language of the world, you can see how this knowledge is used worldwide by just understanding the numerical code behind the English language. Case in point, today's the 86th day of the year. Who is leading the protest that has international headlines on Monday, March 27th, the 86th day of the year? Itamar BenGvir, whose name equals 86. And this is a big number with the Jesuits. That's why the World Cup was scripted around the Pope's 86th birthday, with it concluding one day after and his team, Argentina, winning it, just like how they won in 86. And as we showed, it was synced up with the death of Diego Maradona, and we talked about all this before the World Cup was even played. But this number's no joke. R.I.P. Hiroshima on 86. Anyway, on the 86th day of the year, the man with the 86 name leads the protest. And again, we'll go through the history of Israel and how you can see it's a Jesuit construct from day one. Back to the death of David Ben-Gurion, the death of Theodore Herzl. Anyhow, if you're new here, very simple. Gematria is based on the alphabetic order forwards and backwards with numerology. Every day you learn this code, you just see right through the headlines. It's like the glasses in the movie They Live, if you've ever seen it. So anyhow, 86th day of the year, perfect guy to lead the protest. Big number with the Jesuits, who again control the nation. And notice his birthday, May 6th, right? May 6th, going to be the king's coronation date. The last king died at age 56. Always big rituals on May 6th. Special number to the Jesuits, Society of Jesus, that's their formal title, equals 56, like Pope equals 56. They serve the Pope. But notice today is 40 days before his upcoming birthday. Another specific number, his surname Ben-Gvir is 40. The word protest is 40. He's leading the protest 40 days before his upcoming 47th birthday. He just had a big protest at the beginning of the year at Temple Mount. Temple Mount equals 46, like Catholic. And again, the reason people think that that's where, the temples once were is because of the Catholic Church and the Crusades and the recreated history by the Catholic Church. But again, Catholic 46, Temple Mount 46, 46 books in the Catholic Old Testament. We'll come back to that. Anyhow, he had a big protest at the beginning of the year at Temple Mount. Now it's 40 days from his upcoming 47th birthday. Israel was drawn up as a nation in 47. Jacob, who becomes Israel, dies at age 147 in, if I'm not mistaken, Genesis 47. Anyhow, 40 days before his birthday, Ben-Gvir 40, his surname, protest 40. The word he used today, he said you had to gather because it's an emergency 40. That was the word that he put out to describe it. Zionist, also 40. Old Testament 40, as we know, United States 40, U.S. 40, and Jewish Gematria, United States of America's 929, like how there's 929 chapters in the Old Testament. That is in the Protestant Old Testament. We'll get to the Catholic Old Testament, how it has 145 more chapters and 46 books Right now you got 145 Jewish leaders in America leading a protest against Netanyahu. Notice also his surname. So again, if you're new here, this is how the 4 base ciphers look. Alphabetic order, forwards and backwards with numerology. Notice how his surname has all the same gematria as Zionist. 40, 41, 77, 112. And again, 112, the Balfour Declaration that proposed the creation of the Zionist State of Israel, part of the bait for World War I and eventually World War II. That was drawn up on November 2nd, a date that can be written 112, like Zionist, like Judaism. And keep in mind, Judaism's also 23. Here we are in 2023. Craziest Final Four ever set. The seeds in the Final Four add up to 23. But again, just making sure those numbers get absorbed, numbers that we talk about all the time. Remember on 9/11, after 9/11, Ehud Barak, the leader of Israel, he came on TV and he said the United States needed to declare a war on terrorism, exactly what we did, and go into Afghanistan and Iraq, exactly what we did. And part of the theatrics of that day, first off, you spell out September 11th, it equals 77 like World Trade Center, but then also, again, the big ritual on that day was 77. The 77-foot tall Pentagon on the 77th Meridian West was supposedly struck by Flight 77 exactly 77 minutes after it took off. And again, you had the story about the men arrested in New Jersey who were sent back to Israel, who were referred to as the dancing Israelis. Okay, but keep in mind, again, Israel is 74 years old right now. And notice, or when you write out Jewish, it's got that gematria of 74 forwards, 88 in reverse. Today is 88 days after Netanyahu came back into power. Netanyahu came into power December 29th, 1229, like 1229, the 201st prime, just like how he left office on June 13th, 2021, the day leaving 201 days left in the year. And again, the official title of Israel is State of Israel, which equals 201. Notice 201 and 84 in the same ciphers. The Jesuit order is 201 and 84. From this man's protest at Temple Mount to today is a span of 84 days. See how the Jesuit order is also 177? The words that this man put out in his tweet today equal 177. He's protesting against Benjamin Netanyahu, 177. And again, if you're new here, these numbers come together a lot. Numbers like 177 and 201. Go back and look at the death of Captain Tom being knighted on July 17th, 17/7, dead 201 days later from supposedly the virus, after Event 201 was the simulation put on by the Jesuit Klaus Schwab, whose name is also 177. And again, there's a lot to that list of 177, 201. But again, the Jesuit Order 201, State of Israel 201, David Ben-Gvir in history died 201 days after the anniversary of the establishment of Israel. The Jesuit Adam Weishaupt founded the Order of Illuminati and died 201 days after the anniversary of its establishment. And notice how Illuminati's 48, which is essentially the Jesuit network. Israel was officially created in 48 after the World Wars. By the way, World War, a Jesuit Illuminati mass ritual, World War 48. Illuminati's 48, part of the plan of the Illuminati was to infiltrate Freemasonry, Freemason 48. Today is 48 days before Israel's upcoming 75th birthday. And Google recently took down my my post documenting this, but here, I'll just go back to it. New York Times, October 6, 1940, New World Order pledged to Jews. All right, so this is a real headline from the New York Times. You can see it's their website. And again, I don't know why Google had to take down my post on this for hate speech when all I documented was why this article came out the day it did. October 6th is the day leaving 86 days left in the year. Okay? Like today's the 86th day of the year. October 6th leaves 86 days left in the year. And again, so who's doing the pledging? Who are the Jesuits? Again, who are the Jesuits? They were the alliance that came out of the Protestant Reformation, which targeted Catholicism and Judaism. So it was an alliance between Catholics and Jews. But that day had 75 date numerology, and New World Order is 75. New World Order, 75. There's also that 177 we were just talking about. And Israel is going to turn 75 years old this year on May 14th, which is also Mark Zuckerberg's birthday, born in 84, who goes around with the hoodie that has the Star of David on the inside. And, for the record, it's not just New World Order that's 75, it's Catholic Church. It's order out of chaos, the motto. It's the word order itself. But Israel will turn 75. And realize, this headline's from before Israel was created. New World Order, pledge to Jews, 10 plus 6 plus 19 plus 40, 75. So, like we've been saying, should be significant events this year while Israel's 74. If you're new here, again, 74 is a very special number. Jewish is 74. Holiday for holy days, 74, like this nation born on 7/4. English 74, Gematria 74, occult 74, Masonic is 74. They call Masonry Judaism for the Gentile because its teachings are based in the Old Testament. And then, Christians worship the Jew Jesus, who's from Judea. Jesus is 74, like cross, like Messiah, like gospel, like parables, and on and on and on. Here we are in a nation where our capital is named after George Washington the Mason, George Washington 74, and the same cipher, Jesus Christ 74. So anyhow, this big thing happening while Israel is 74, 88 days after Netanyahu reclaimed office. The protest is against him and how he wants to change Congress, or their Knesset, to have more control over the judiciary, which again would be like our Congress having more control over the Supreme Court, which in a way wouldn't matter because it's all one big Jesuit-controlled joke anyway, where they control the whole thing. And I'm sure it's no different than Israel, so really all this is for show, just to get people all caught up in some, politics. But anyway, again, his tweet, emergency situation heading up to Jerusalem. And I'm sure his Jesuit handlers wrote the tweet for him, so it would be Gematria perfect, because again, there it is right there, 177. And Wikipedia again, they don't have a very nice article on him. They make it seem like he's a terrorist, and he very well might be, because there are a lot of them in that nation. But, again, they do mention how on January 3rd, which would have been 83 days earlier, the 23rd prime, or like I said, a span of 84 days, Jesuit 84, the Jesuit Order 84, the Catholic Church 84, United States of America 84, the book 1984. Anyway, he had his big thing at Temple Mount while he was 46 years old. And again, Temple Mount 46 like Catholic. That's how over here in the U.S. we knew that Joe Biden would be number 46 in the election exactly 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday, like how JFK was killed at 46, the only two Catholic presidents. Of course, JFK was number 35, and Biden was inaugurated on the Pope's 35th day of his age. But again, notice how perfect it is. Catholic, 145. There's 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament than Protestant Old Testament. Israel's date of establishment is 14/5. Again, the headline right here in the U.S. right now, 145 Jewish leaders protesting against Netanyahu. Is there really 145? Probably not, but they put that in the papers because of who controls the papers. The Jesuits. A Catholic-Jewish alliance. The Old Testament is Jewish. Catholic 145 for 145 more chapters. And 46 for how many books are in the Catholic OT. Simple. And again, today's 48 days before May 14th. Illuminati 48, Freemason 48, the 48 Laws of Power, Israel established in 48. Today's 22 weeks and 3 days after Netanyahu's 73rd birthday, kind of like 223. The Synagogue of Satan equals 223, so does Philadelphia. The letter written to the Church of Philadelphia about the Synagogue of Satan in Jewish Gematria Masonic is 223, which is the 48th prime, bringing us back to 48. That politician over here in the U.S. who claimed to be a Jew but is not, his birth name equals 223. George Santos, his birth name, not George Santos. Look up his birth name, it's 223. And you could also say it's Netanyahu's 158th day of his age. Freemasonry also has the Gematria of 158. The Jesuit order's birthday is 15/8. Modern Freemasonry is a Jesuit construct. Today's date numerology is also 73. And that's also important because David Ben-Gvir, the founder of Zionism, notice this guy who's leading the charge today. Look at his place of birth. Mevizeret, Zion. Anyhow, of course, Israel is the Zionist nation, but the founder of Zionism, the father of Zionism, Theodore Herzl, 73. What day did he die? July 3rd, 73. In Hebrew Gematria, 73 and 37 are thought to be the most important numbers. Today's date numerology is also 37. It's 73 and 37 for the date numerology past today. 7337. You could say it's 157 days after Netanyahu's birthday, which is the 37th prime number. But in Hebrew Gematria, 7337. Very special numbers. 73 books in the Catholic Old Testament. 73 is the 21st prime, Jesuit 21, Bible 21, so on and so forth. 21, the 6th triangular number. Man made on the 6th day. Human equals 21. We know in the Talmud who are humans and who are not humans. Anyhow, Theodore Herzl, 73, the father of Zionism. David Ben-Gvir, 73, the father of Israel. And again, today's 73 date numerology and a huge ritual in Israel. And again, if you don't know about Theodore Herzl, look it up. He died July 3rd, 1904, 44 years before Israel was created. Zion 44, Israel 44, Netanyahu 44. And one of my favorite Netanyahu moments, his 44 years of angry silence targeted at Obama, who just wasn't giving Israel enough money. And again, the joke, when Obama left office, he gave Israel $38 billion. And he'd already given him a ton of money, but then he gave him $38 billion more. It was a record at the time, so 38, not an arbitrary number either. Jews 38, Kabbalah's 38, Gematria's 38, English is 38. Obama was in D.C., the city on the 38th parallel, the military center of the world, where Pentagon's also 38, which makes sense because, again, death is 38, murder's 38, killing's 38, killing is 38, RIP's 38. If you're new here, check out the movie poster for Murder by Numbers, film that came out on Ignatius Loyola Day. Ignatius Loyola is the founder of the Jesuits, but notice, Murder by Numbers. 3 in the E, 8 in the B. And the song Murder by Numbers came out in 83 by the Police, British band. And again, the Jesuits and the Catholic Church in Rome have controlled the UK from day one. And before it was Israel, it was, essentially a British settlement. English. You just got to follow the historical timeline, and then it'll all make a lot more sense. See how nice they were to release the movie in her 38th year of life, 38 weeks after her birthday. So, and then what's amazing is, Agatha Christie, she has the ABC murders, which equals 56 and 79, like Society of Jesus. Like how murder is 79, and then again, if you add up all the numbers on this movie poster, if you add up every number on here, it adds up to 56. Again, big Jesuit number, just like how the coronation of the king will be on 5/6, and the last king died at 56, and royal family's 56. Every year there's something going on May 6th. This guy's birthday just happens to be 5/6. But yeah, top news story, 86th day of the year. Let's see if they change that. That's what it's been all morning. Nope, still the top story on the 86th day of the year. The protest led by the man with the 86 name. And again, I mean, just day after day after day, it's all by the numbers. So here, I'll pull up that other headline about 145 Jewish leaders oppose Netanyahu. This month, 145 American Jewish leaders publicly distanced themselves from Netanyahu. So they publicly distanced themselves from a member of the Israeli government, saying Finance Minister... Oh, actually, okay, maybe... I thought when I first saw this headline it said Netanyahu, but now it's saying Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich. Anyway, the point is it's all the same. It's all numerically encoded. The numbers got to be perfect each day. And again, I don't know how, more people don't catch on to it. It's a reminder that the fourth book of the Bible is Numbers. It's in the Torah. Numbers. But yeah, that's why I got to be honest, man. It's just like some of the things in the Talmud, it might sound mean, but you start to think about it, it's like, I don't, maybe they're right. Maybe these people aren't human. Maybe they are too dumb to be considered human. I mean, they can't see the obvious every single day. How about this paragraph right here? Polling of American Jews from 2020 suggests that younger Jews had less attachment to Israel and were likely to be more critical of it than earlier generations. A survey by the Jewish Electorate Institute in 2021 found that a quarter of American Jews considered Israel to be an apartheid state. For those under age 40, the number climbed to 38%. It also showed that 34% believe Israel's treatment of the Palestinians is similar to racism in the U.S., 43% for under 40s. Well, we just talked about 38, and then notice how it's also 43 in reverse, and then Jewish is also 34. And notice the overlap with Jewish and Jesus, right? And Jesus in church, all the overlaps. But yeah, again, it's just like when it was, pandemic time, every stat was 56%. Everything was 56%. Occasionally they'd give us a 70%, like the UK strain that went for 70% more infectious to 56%, to Trump declaring Operation Warp Speed on 15/5, and on and on and on. All these numbers got used a million times. But Gerald Celente is going to have a field day with this front page on CNN. He's been talking about this. He thinks that's the next domino to fall. 50% vacancies in commercial real estate. A lot of defaults. It's going to be the thing that finally tips the banks over. He could be right about that. Again, the whole new work from home. But you know what I see it as? All just part of the planned transition. Think about like New York City. They want mega cities. If all those skyscrapers don't have, office spaces in them, they'll probably remake them into residential. And who knows? Maybe one day it'll be even much greater population, and maybe it won't be so nice. It'll be a lot of poor people living in high rises. Again, they told us what they want. Agenda 2030, more people in cities, more people in smart cities, surveillance states. New York City population could be 100 million. People living in tiny little apartments where they can spend their day, instead of looking at their little ghetto, they can just spend the day in virtual reality in Mark Zuckerberg's Meta. Mark will be in his mansion somewhere in reality with his Star of David hoodie on. You'll be living in Meta, so you don't have to look at your dingy little apartment. Your stipend will get dropped by once a week. Good news is people will be starving, so they won't be as fat. But, yeah, they got it all planned out for us, you guys, and they're taking us there one day at a time by the numbers. But yeah, it does also seem like part of the agenda is, make everybody hate their own country right now. Guess that way it'll be easier to bring in the new one world government. You can have your free cash, your free weekly stipend. You don't got to work. You can play video games in virtual reality. The red slop or the blue slop, just hit the button for which one you want this week. Anyway, it's the latest news by the numbers, the mass protest in Israel. And again, we'll see what happens when it turns 75. There is a reason that it was about 3 months ago that Google took down my post, which had been up for years, about the New York Times New World Order pledged to Jews. You had to love how this past week on 322, remember Bush? Remember 322 Skull and Bones? He used to always say New World Order. He used to love that phrase, New World Order. But then now he's dead and in the grave, and now it's Russia and China coming together on 322 to tell us about the New World Order. You know who else was all into the New World Order? Adolf Hitler, whose birth name Adolphus Hitler is 201, who the Catholic Church turned their backs to. The Nazis sporting the red and black like the Jesuits. Nazi like Ashkenazi, like the Jesuits being Catholic and Jewish. That agenda necessary to create the Zionist state that was already planned before Hitler came to power. Again, you guys, we're just living out one ritual after the next, one evil ritual after the next to make all their dominoes line up. So I guess eventually they can all just tip them over. And then I guess the final step is we all live in virtual reality and meta. Oh, man. Don't forget Bummer. That's Obama. He was the last speaker on the last day of Agenda 2030 at the United Nations, which has those Jesuit numbers all over it. But it was his 54th day of being 54 years old. Another big fat Jesuit number. Agenda 2030. So the latest headline just before I went live was that Netanyahu said that this protest was essentially successful and he's not going to overhaul the judiciary. But again, at the end of the day, I would see why people wouldn't want that. I could just like people in America who think like the government's legitimate. They wouldn't want, they like the idea of, separate branches of power, separate but equal, this type of thing. But it's all an illusion. You got to be an American dreamer to not see how rigged the whole game is. And again, it's the same people running this nation that run Israel. You can prove that all day. Just like how everyone's getting sacrificed in Israel by the 201 code, getting removed from power, getting put into power. It's the same thing over here. Again, Joe Biden sacrifices his son at age 46, 201 days before the Pope's birthday. Again, the Jesuit order equals 201. The Pope's birth name equals 201. The founder of the Jesuits equals 201. Pope Francis I to live in Suite 201. But again, dead 201 days before the Pope's birthday at age 46, then becomes number 46, does Joe Biden, 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday. Gets sworn in on 20/1, the 201st day of the nation's age, by a Jesuit priest whose name equals 201, and the same Jesuit priest who did the funeral for Beau Biden. The whole world needs to wake up to who controls their nations, who's manipulating their people, who made Israel the biggest guinea pigs in the world for the post-event 201 simulation. That's why all the people in the world who still think Israel runs everything, I mean, it just, like, these people are people start believing stuff too much. They just get too into their beliefs, and they're not looking at evidence. You can't think that Israel runs the world anymore after what happened during the whole pandemic. They got the worst of it, They were required to get the most shots. Definitive proof that they don't run the world. Definitive proof that they're under the same thumb that the rest of us are. And it is interesting that, Jewish people got, you could say the worst of it in the World War II. Well, a lot of people got the worst of it, and they don't get mentioned, but, they were the one religious group that was rounded up. And again, was it done by their own people? Because again, that's who the Jesuits are. They're Catholic and Jewish. And the answer to that question is yes, they were done. It wasn't just their own people, but it was the Jesuits that did it, which is very much Jewish. And that's why they operate daily by a Jewish Kabbalistic code. It's what everyone needs to wake up to, you know. It's just like in America, like all the black people that blame white people for everything. It's just like, no, it's not the way it is either. It's not white people who are doing it. There's lots of poor white people. There's a power structure in this world, and it's the Catholic Church and the people who run that thing and the Jesuits up at the very top. That's who it is. The Illuminati was founded by a Jesuit. Illuminati symbolism all over dollar bills. Money controlling the world. And by the way, just regards to 86 and Illuminati symbolism, here's a few more 86 words. Symbol, pyramid, triangle. Coming back to pyramid, look into the Great Pyramid of Giza. Let me spell it right. The Great Pyramid of Giza. It's got 201 remaining layers of stone, and on top of that, Great Pyramid of Giza, 201. Go figure. We'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. And again, in case he's out there, we met a young Jewish guy when we were at Yale teaching this knowledge. And the young Jewish guy, he loved it. He's like, oh my, he was just blown away. He's like, oh my God, they're doing this in English too. He's like, he was not surprised. So, Yale's coat of arms is got Jewish symbolism on it. And here, you know what? I'll just show you that real quick. It's another 201. Oh, speaking of 201 and the Jesuits, I should have mentioned. You know, this whole thing comes from Jewish mysticism, which is 201. All right, Hebrew words in the Yale coat of arms. Urim and Thummim. Boom. 177, 69, 201, like the Jesuit order, and 84. It's the exact same in all four. And again, the big secret. Well, what's funny is if you go to Yale, it says that there's 41 secret societies on campus. Of course, the most famous is Skull and Bones. And there is a cipher that's... Derek changed the name of every cipher. I don't know why he did this. Now it's capitals added. Okay. The cipher that's cap sensitive, Skull and Bones, is also 201. But again, Skull and Bones gets their symbolism from how the Knights Templar bury their dead, the Templar cross in the middle of the Jesuit logo. They're both Catholic military orders. The movie The Skulls came out 201 days after Paul Walker's birthday. You just had the big 322. Actually, 322 comes 201 days before Yale's school anniversary each year, March 22nd to October 9th. And you could also say it's a span of 202 days. And again, Bush number 41, born on the day leaving 202 days left in the year. His son, also in Skull and Bones, and a president born on 7/6. Georgia Guidestones came down this year on his 76th birthday, 201 days after the Pope's birthday, and they were put up on 322. 322, Jewish mysticism, Kabbalah, the Tree of Life, 3 Pillars, 22 Paths. Again, all these things are related. They're all connected. All secret societies pretty much rooted in Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism, thus making them, well, and again, Masonry is rooted in the same thing. It's just, again, you learn this knowledge, you start to understand these secret societies, what they're doing, for what purpose. Again, this is the code that they said God created the world with in Kabbalah, Book of Formation, page 1. God created the world with numbers, letters, and words. Clearly, these people said, this is how we'll play God over the world day after day after day. And I don't know why people are so slow on the uptake.
But there's 4 ciphers, so I think like maybe you can make it line up every day.
Again, just like that's like listening to people, and then that's why I'm like, man, maybe that Talmud's not wrong. But again, look at the guy's name. 139, 67, 212, 86. So can we make this line up with every day of the year? Does this line up with every day of the year? They could have had a ritual on the 67th day of the year, and perhaps they did, and I wasn't paying attention that day. They could have a ritual on the 139th day of the year. You could do the day leaving 86 days left in the year, the day leaving 67. So you could get a handful of days, the 212th day of the year, the day leaving 212 days. So with his name, you could come up with Here, actually, let's do this all the way. Let's do the math and get the probability. Because here we are on the 86th day of the earnings, leading the protests. And again, big number with the Jesuits, who are always saying run the nation. But okay, let's say that you could do the day of or the day remaining for each one of these. So that gives us 8 days. Let's say you could also do September 13th. So that gives us 9 days. Let's say you could do June 7th or July 6th. That gives us 11 days. Let's say you could do February 12th or December 2nd. So that gets us up to 13 days. And let's say you could do August 6th or June 8th. So we have 15 days. So, calculator. Because again, I just want to get the real probability here, because that is truly how you could do it. So 15 divided by 365, the days in a year, it gives us a 4% probability. So we have a 4% chance of this lining up, taking all those possibilities into account. 4%. This stuff lines up every day, though, is the thing. So when it starts lining up every day, it's let's just say that every time let's say that what we showed every day had a 4% probability. It's like yesterday you wake up and it's just like the dumbest headline there ever was. Digital blackface. You know, this is yesterday on 3/26. CNN's front page. Digital blackface on 3/26. I mean, this one you don't even have as many probabilities, but it's like this every day. Every day the news is just straight crap by the numbers, and so again, every day you're dealing with odds between like a percentage of a small fraction of a percentage point and maybe 4% odds. But even if it was 4% odds every day, what's 4 to the 365th power? Since we know it's this way every single day and we prove it every single day, you'd be talking about like a 1 in a number that doesn't even exist. A 1 in 50 gazillion chance. You know? That's why people that like literally have no understanding of probability, no concept of math. They go to the grocery store, and that's why, you know, the Krogers of the world, Kroger 74, Kroger 74 and 88, Walmart 88, you know, Jewish. It's why when you go to these stores, you know, it's almost like they put things on sale to mock the people because they know they can't do math. It's like, here, you can get 40 ounces of this product for this price, or you can get 4 of these bags, which if you actually did the math, are less, but costing more. But somebody's like, oh, 4 bags? I think that's a better deal because they just can't add up the ounces on the bag. It's like this all the time if you're at the grocery store. And again, people don't take advantage of what the better deal is because they can't do the math. They can't do simple math. They can't add up the ounces on the package and divide by the price to find out what the better price is. It's like this, like almost every time I go to the grocery store, I'm like, oh, it's interesting how they set up this sale. This is actually the better deal over here. Meanwhile, everyone's buying this because they're like, I'm pretty sure that 4 bags is better than these 2 bags. Nope, not if you add up the ounces. So, anyway, not a coincidence. And also just, you know, over the years, since I've been doing this for 10 years, despite how many times this channel's been deleted, you might look at my channel and be like, your channel's only been here for a year. Yeah, it's because it's been deleted a gazillion times, but just over the years, there's been a lot of Jewish people who have come by and left a comment and said things like, Gematria is only relevant in Hebrew, as we prove every day that, actually, you know, take the most interesting Hebrew Gematria teachings there ever were and compare them to what I'm showing each day. I do think about it this way. The knowledge existed from Hebrew, but they took the knowledge and they put it in a newer language and synced it up with the Gregorian calendar so that they can control the world this way every single day. And that's exactly what the theory was a long time ago that I think I've proven a gazillion times over since I put it out there a long time ago. Again, 16th century, Jesuits created, English standardizes 26-letter alphabet, Gregorian calendar came out named after the Pope that gave us the 52-week year. And notice Pope is 52, 52-week year that rules over Earth, 52. It's interesting how Pope and Devil and Earth overlap, isn't it? And then there's more to say about that too. But Anyhow, 52, special number if you don't know. Gematria is 52. Kabbalah is 52. Tree of Life, the physical model for Kabbalah is 52. The Jewish word for tree of life, Etz HaChaim, is 52. Words like authority are 52. Government, 52. The Cabal, 52. That rules over the earth by the code every day. I wish like that's the way people were. For all the people over the years that left to come like,
Gematria doesn't exist in English. These are coincidences.
It's like, well, you might want to go back and read your Talmud and make sure you're not one of the Goyim. You know what I mean? Because it certainly does. And again, English equals Gematria, equals energy, equals occult, equals Jewish, equals Masonic, equals holiday, equals this nation's birthday, 7/4, equals killing. Like how 3 of the first 5 presidents died on 7/4. 3 of the first 5. Wonder who did it. Think it was the Catholics? So, remember the whole story of this nation, that people are trying to flee Europe because who was ruling Europe at the time? Catholicism. Now, notice Europe's the same as Catholic. Holy See's the same. Eyes same. Genesis 3:5 about the eyes of God. These people are about to have eyes all over the world with the surveillance state they've almost fully accomplished. Cameras everywhere. So anyway. We'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. Thanks to everyone who tuned in and hit the like and the share. And until next time.